We're cutting across to the Kolkata High Court's verdict on post-poll violence. Here are some of those statements that's just accessed by India Today at the High Court. All cases of murder and rape to be investigated by the CBI as per the Kolkata High Court. The Kolkata High Court now orders for a CBI probe. The High Court says all cases of murder and rape now to be investigated by the CBI. For other cases, the court committee SIT headed by Suman Bora Sahu and two other police officers. And then court also further saying no adverse action to be taken without court direction. Here's the Kolkata High Court that's hearing a bunch of petitions on the post-poll violence in West Bengal. Now gives out its verdict and says, in fact, orders a CBI probe into cases of violence, all cases of murder and rape to be investigated by the CBI. For other cases, court committee SIT headed by Suman Bora Sahu and two other police officers will be heading that probe. No adverse action will be taken without the court's direction. This is a huge breakthrough in terms of the investigations to be ordered on the post-poll violence in West Bengal. Remember, the TMC government had time and again tried to dismiss the kind of violence that ensued right after TMC's win in West Bengal. BJP pointing out, alleging that the TMC extensively targeted people affiliated or attached with the BJP, and rapes, murders were carried out, many of them being allegedly BJP workers. And this matter escalated. Many petitions that's been filed in court. TMC tried to quash those petitions, asking for the dismissal of those petitions itself, saying this is false allegations made against the government. Finally, now the court hearing the matter, hearing a bunch of petitions, has said that the CBI will now be probing into cases of rape and murder attached to the post-poll violence in West Bengal. And furthermore, any other cases will be investigated. Any other kind of violence will be investigated by an SIT team that's been formed, headed by Suman Bora Sahu and two other police officers. And court also further saying no adverse action will be taken without the court's direction. Here's the Kolkata High Court now, a much-awaited verdict on West Bengal violence, post-poll violence. Remember, there was large-scale violence that was reported from many parts of West Bengal. The BJP point, in fact, alleging that the TMC targeted extensively the BJP members, leaders, people who affiliated or aligned with the BJP were extensively targeted in most parts of West Bengal right after Mamata Banerjee's party won with a whopping majority. Here, the TMC constantly denying, saying these allegations are false and this is just vindictive. In fact, now you have the Kolkata High Court, which now has heard a bunch of petitions that have accused West Bengal government of post-poll violence or fanning this kind of violence, has asked for a CBI probe into the matters of rape and murder. Further says that any other cases of violence will be probed by an SIT team headed by Suman Bora Sahu and two other police officers. And also the court further advising that no adverse action will be taken without court's direction. Let me quickly cut across to Prema Rajaram for more on that. Prema, this is huge headway into the allegations of post-poll violence in West Bengal. Now the Kolkata High Court directing a CBI probe into cases of rape and murder attached with the post-poll violence. What more has the High Court said?
Well, Nabila, this is exactly what the NHRC report which was submitted to the court has said, that there should be a CBI investigation into the grievous crimes that were found, which include murder, rape and other such crimes. And that is exactly what the five-judge bench of the Calcutta High Court has ordered. And also, apart from that, like you mentioned, the other cases which are not as serious as the grievous crimes will be handed over to the concerned officers. However, no action can be taken, no serious action can be taken.
No serious action can be taken without the court's order. So clearly the court here has stepped in, and given the fact that the victims here had expressed the fact that they did not have faith in the state agencies investigating this case, and also the BJP had claimed on its part that the victims were not getting what they should be getting in terms of going back to their their homes, because many had to flee their homes. Now that is something that the court has looked into as well, and said that there will be adequate action taken for these cases which were mentioned in the post-poll violence report. So clearly the court has taken cognizance of all this, and as far as the officer concerned, the DC concerned in Jadavpur area where the NHRC team was attacked during its probe here in Kolkata, that matter will be dealt with separately. But the court clearly has got into the nitty-gritties of this case, Nabila, and not overlooked all the arguments placed before the various, before the court placed by the various lawyers and the various councils. But a big setback here to the state, which has been saying time and again that the TMC supporters and the ruling party supporters have not been indulging in post-poll violence, that many of these cases are personal in nature. However, the court has also taken note of the fact that the cases which are not found to be cases of post-poll violence, they will be dealt separately with. So the CBI here will be dealing with the cases which are serious in nature. Back to you, Nabila.
Right, Prema, here we're looking at the TMC government who time again tried to dismiss these cases, calling this just false allegations. In fact, even approached the court to quash all those petitions filed. And now with the CBI probe being initiated, any word from the TMC so far?
Right now, the TMC is still taking in all the facts that the court has put forward. But in the past also, we've seen after the hearings have taken place, and even after the NHRC report was placed before the Calcutta High Court, the TMC had questioned the NHRC report and had also, in fact, refuted some of the claims that were placed in this report. So the TMC right now is likely to weigh its words carefully before making any comment, because it's a big setback to the state, and we'll have to see what is the next course of action. But for now, another fact that was put forward by the court is that the compensation that will be given to the victims will be handed over directly to their bank account. So here the court is looking into the welfare of the victims and going beyond the political aspect of the case. The fact that it is not just about the BJP that has been putting forward its arguments, but also about the victims and what the NHRC report has said, because the NHRC team was here in Kolkata to speak to the victims, hear their grievances, and only after that did they put out this report which was submitted to the court. Back to you, Nabila.
Prema, thank you very much for joining us with those details. Well, we do know that the TMC now has been, the TMC of course has been, TMC has been denying these allegations time and again. They have been saying that these are false allegations being made against them. None of the TMC leaders or members were part of any post-poll violence. This is just false allegations made against them, while the BJP, on the other hand, accusing the TMC of targeting BJP leaders, BJP members, those affiliated or aligned with the BJP extensively through the assembly elections in West Bengal just about a month ago. Let me quickly cut across to Jayantu Ghoshal, our consulting editor, right on the phone line for more on that. Mr. Ghoshal, if you could please shed some light on this court's order, CBI probe that's been ordered into rape and murder cases in West Bengal. What does this signify now?
Actually, I think it is more political than the legal issues. But it has come to court because there is no political consensus. It is true that in West Bengal, political violence is vulnerable. Among all other states, in other states like UP and Bihar, we have seen a lot of caste violence, violence on religiosities. But in West Bengal, political violence was always, West Bengal was topper. But now in the electoral violence has become a very crucial issue, and BJP raised the issue. And in court, today, it's a major setback because TMC always said that there was no violence, there was no electoral violence. So you have to accept the fact that violence was there, and always what CPM as ruling party used to do with the opposition, that time TMC was opposition, the same history is repeating. But now TMC will challenge this and they can go to the upper platform of the judiciary. But this is a major political issue what BJP can use, because the by-elections are also coming in West Bengal. In fact, Mamata Banerjee's by-election at Bhawanipur is also pending. So now Election Commission has sent a letter whether the peace and tranquility is there in West Bengal for peaceful election time, in the Corona time especially. So all-party meeting is going to take place. So this sort of, court observation will create a major political impact in West Bengal just before the by-election. And it can restrain the political violence. That is a good aspect of the whole judiciary thing. But the political debate and political tutu manner will be more, I believe. That is the exact position, what I think so.
Right. If you could really elaborate when you said that the TMC can challenge this, what really did you mean?
Because, consistently TMC is saying that BJP is provoking. Like in the election time, when the firing took place and the paramilitary force fired and people killed in that election day, on the election day. That time, TMC said it is a provocation of the center. There is conspiracy theory started by TMC. And BJP said that it is the mobocracy of TMC. They created trouble in the polling booth and police was forced. The paramilitary force was actually, there is no other option. Only for their own survival they fired because it was a goons with arms and ammunition. And TMC objected. Now, if it is clear in the court observation that ruling party also a party to the violence, then TMC will challenge it because TMC is not ready to accept the allegation that TMC was behind the scene. TMC did it. TMC said that TMC reacted. The action taken place by the BJP and the government forces, and TMC reacted. So it is not like that. TMC is not responsible for the violence. Responsibility goes to BJP. So this is the main political debate. Now, after this court observation, and this TMC will try to challenge the verdict to the upper court. Whatever the legal consultation, they will take the legal consultation from their legal cell, and they have a lot of lawyers.
Yeah, quite naturally, so, they are the ruling government. They will pull all strings to defend themselves. Mr. Ghoshal, thank you very much for joining us with those details. But one takeaway here for sure is that this will deter deter any kind of post-poll violence henceforth. As Mr. Ghoshal said, you have West Bengal that's vulnerable to violence, and consecutive governments have been embroiled in it. And here is a TMC government in focus here that's been in power for years now, that have been accused of fanning post-poll violence year after year. And this time, the Kolkata High Court, that's hearing a bunch of petitions, has now said that a CBI probe will be initiated into rape and murders attached with the post-poll violence case.